Hello, this is a double list review of Hunter's two Chinese lists. He sent me two lists. One of them is supposed to be a Manchukuo list, which we're going to have to talk about, and one of them a Chinese communist. They are supposed to be made so they can face off against each other. And Hunter is wondering about the legality of the Manchukuos, because, well, they're a what if, they're not like one of the armies. And yes, they're perfectly legal. You bought them as warlords. That is what Manchukos were. Basically, they are covered by that more or less. So yes, they're perfectly legal, no questions asked. Most TOs would just say, "Wow!" and you painted them that color. And what are they supposed to be? Cool. Um, Believe me, I've fielded my Czechoslovakians enough times, and Czechoslovakians are not represented at all in bold action. Not a problem. They're bought as Romanians. They are early war Romanians, basically, in the rules. But you don't have any Czechoslovakians. But my miniatures are Czechoslovakians. That's not a problem. Perfectly fine. Um, Bold action really doesn't have that much of an issue with um, count as or um, alternative model companies or all that, like some companies do, some games. So it's really not a problem. So let's go and see Hunter's lists, shall we? So the first one is the communist list. 19 order dice, 1250 points. That's a good high order dice count. First lieutenant, regular first lieutenant. Um, I would never do this unless you have a plan. But if you do have that plan of doing some snap twoing, then this is the right way to do it. Otherwise, it just becomes two men, very expensive. One of them does carry a flag, which is a little bonus, nice little bonus. Um, Guerrillas, yes, these are the best troops in the communist roster. They are extremely expensive units, and they don't really need the light machine gun here. Simply because, yep, I know it's historical, um, but you're already deploying up, right? Because guerrillas have forward deployment. Um, so there's no real reason to bring that extra range. You're paying for something that you're not really getting. Um, so rifles are perfectly fine, or a couple of submachine guns or pistols even. Um, these two are set up so one of them is a close combat unit and one of them is a ranged unit. I like that setup, and nothing wrong with that. Political officer, yes, very cheap, very good, like it. Medic, again, cheap order dice, very good. Conscripts, entire squad is green. These are going to be your backline holders, and if they're backline holders, they don't need to be this big. If you can buy them smaller units, you might get away with that and save a few points. Cavalry. Now, cavalry is making a bit of a comeback here because they've got top fighter, they've got the range. I like cavalry units. Do they need to be 10 men? No, but you've got 1250 points, so you can. I think for this setup you need at least 8 men. You could get away with 7 maybe. But um, yeah, I like the addition here, and I like the different. There are many different units here. Can you see that? Many different types of units. So he's got lots of tools in his box here. Scout teams, um, entire squad mounted. They're mounted. They're scouts. They're mounted scouts. That's so cool. They're going to be really useful as well. Um, Outflanking, going down into his deployment zone, killing maybe or pinning an artillery piece. Like it. A levy, yes, because it's free. Medium machine gun, don't buy this. Don't ever buy this. Don't unless you're going to an event that has, or this is going to be really historical. The medium machine guns are just not worth the points. Definitely not worth the points. Heavy mortar with a spotter, that can be cheaper as well if you're going to be competitive about it. But I like the addition here because you have loads of points. A sniper team, a flamethrower team, suicide anti-tanker, lovely. I don't know if you can, but if you could get more of these. Can't remember if Chinese communists can take more. I think they can. Take more if you can. They're just very, very useful, and you don't have that much anti-tank in your list here. A mountain gun, very nice. Horse-drawn limber for the mountain gun, and a captured Hogoku Go, and a captured Chiha. Yeah, both of them are really nice additions. The Reki on the Hogoku Go, lovely. Loads of machine gun shots. You can split fire with those. We have the Chiha with a light howitzer, very nice little tank, and a truck. The truck isn't really needed. What's really needed is some sort of small transport for the flamethrower. But you could transport the where did it go? These guys, they're not ideal for transport. I don't know what the transport is for, really. You need a small car, not a truck. If you can take a small car, I don't know how the Chinese transport section looks. Right. So something where you could save points here in this first list, but overall fairly good. Loads of different tools. This is a really toolboxy list. Like it. The Manchukuo Warlords, 18 order dice, very nice matchup. 1248, just enough for nothing. Single submachine gun, something, don't know. Warlord, a man carrying a flag, a bodyguard with a pistol and a sword. With a sword, okay, it's got tough fighter. And extra infantry equipped as modeled. This is a huge unit. Is it worth 200 points? Definitely not. But that's a lot of men for an officer unit. They're veteran. They've got tough fighter, all of them. Interesting. Definitely not worth 200 points. That is more than my Gurkha units of 10 men. Not worth it. Not worth it. Infantry. Initiative training. Now, these warlords, some of them were trained by German expats, training officers, so they get the German initiative training rule. Is it worth it? No, maybe not, but it is a nice little bonus, and that does mean that these skirmish units are pretty good because they don't lose their NCO, but the size of these units is just way off. If you want a skirmish unit, go down to 7 or 6 men. 7 men for preference, 6 if you want to save the points. Both of these could be the same size. Save the points for something else. Light machine guns, these should be backline holders. Backline holders need to be small units, typically. Or if it's a push unit, it doesn't need the machine gun. You guys all know this. Scout teams, again, lovely little unit. Don't know why more people don't use it. It is 60 points for 3 men, but it's really nice. The levy squad, free levy, yes. Medium machine gun, no, don't buy that. Don't buy that, Hunter. Not worth it. Medium mortar with a spotter, lovely. I really like these medium mortars. Sniper team, flamethrower team, suicide anti-tanker, light howitzer with a spotter, lovely. Horse-drawn limber, FT-17, yeah, that's that's one of those that doesn't really work. And then the cavalry here included because they are going to reflect the Manchukos. So this is, and I think most TOs would look at you and say, well, just bring him. So 2 cavalry units, Somo armored car with an LMG and a truck. If you can, just make sure to buy these as warlords if you can, because then it's only the Manchukuo cavalry that you bring in from someplace else. They seem reasonably set up. The only thing here is that the Manchukuo cavalry would get the Japanese special rules, which I don't think they should have. So they should be without the Japanese special rules, without Fanatic, without Banzai. Um, they really don't need the light machine gun at all. No reason to buy that because you're not going to be able to fire it unless you get off the horse. And as a cavalry unit, you never want to do that. So that's 20 points out the window. Buy something else instead. Right. That was a very unusual look at Chinese lists. Hunter, thank you so much for the lists and good luck setting all that up. I do hope you bring your Manchukos to events, and I do hope that the TO allows them. Um, the only thing I would change up is say that they don't get the Japanese special rule, even though they're bought from the Japanese roster. That would be it, and then they're perfectly fine. Right, that was it. Cheers, everyone.